In this video, I'm talking all about how you can film your own music video. So let's get into it. Now, whether it be a worldwide pandemic putting restrictions on your life and stopping you from filming with a videographer, or maybe you're just starting out and you can't afford to pay for a videographer, either way, you can make a music video on your own without the help of a videographer. But there are a few important things that you have to remember if you want to make a really impactful music video. So my first tip is to record plenty of variations of performance shots. So a performance take is basically just a take of you singing along to the track. It is the bare bones of a music video, and it's really important that you film a whole variety of different performances. So if you're filming one at home, for example, you could film one against a black background, you could swap that and do that against a white background, you could go outside and film some in a location. Just make sure you get enough variations of your performance. As a general rule of thumb, when it comes to music videos, I like to have at least 2 different performances per section of the track. So I would typically structure a music video with the verse 1 and chorus 1 as the first section. So that would require 2 performances. Verse 2 and chorus 2 is a different section, so that requires 2 new performances. The breakdown or the middle 8 is another new performance, that's just one there. And then the final chorus, you can add another new performance and you can bring everything back in together. So make sure you record at least 6 different performance takes in different locations with different outfits, or do something completely different on each one. And that is the first way that you're going to spice up your music video and make it an interesting and dynamic music video. Tip number 2 is going back to that first one, and that is to shoot your performances at different focal lengths. So there's no point having every performance shot in the video being a wide shot, because that will get very boring very quickly. So you want to get your wide shots, you want to get your medium shots, and you also want to get your close-ups. So do 3 takes of each performance shot, 1 at wide, 1 at medium, 1 at close-up. And you want to make sure that you're doing this for every single different variation of your performance take. So if you're doing 6 different performances, you want to do 3 takes of each. Tip number 3, and this again is linked to your performance takes, you want to make sure that you're not filming these a cappella. You might think you know the song off by heart, you might think you know the timing of the track, but when you're taken off the track and you're performing a cappella, you might start to drift a few milliseconds out. And when it comes to syncing that up with the track in the edit, unfortunately, it's just going to be completely out. And that means in order to fix this, you're going to have to keep cutting up the video and moving it over so that it's in sync with the track. So always make sure that you've got playback when you're filming these performance takes. You could simply just play this back on your phone, you could play it on a speaker, on your laptop. It doesn't matter how you play it, just make sure you're playing back the track that you're performing to when you're recording these performance takes. Tip number 4 is to introduce movement in your shot. So obviously if you're filming this music video on your own and you don't have help from anybody else, then of course you're going to have to put your camera on a tripod. But just because your camera is on a tripod, that doesn't mean that every shot has to be a static, boring shot. Just adding a little bit of camera movement into some of your shots can really help to improve the look of your music video and help that seem more dynamic and interesting. So there's 2 things that I like to do to add movement if I was to film on my own. So the first one is to capture some B-roll. And B-roll is basically just those extra shots of the location, the surrounding area, just close-up details that aren't yourself. So when you're filming these, you want to make sure that you're moving the camera just a little bit, just to add a little bit of movement in. And then of course, the second thing that I like to do is to add movement to still shots. So let's say you shot your performance shot on a tripod. Most cameras these days are capable of shooting above 1080p. So let's say you're shooting in 4K. If you shoot your video in 4K, that means when you're editing, you can add digital zooms onto your performance shots. And this way you can have digital zoom ins and zoom outs. And this is going to make your music video much more interesting. So shoot B-roll or GVs of your location and add camera movement into those shots. And then also add some keyframe animation into your edit to make your static shots have movement. And then my last tip is to really think about your location, your lighting, and everything else. A music video goes so much further past just a performance shot. Yes, it's really good that you've got a great performance shot, but it's also really good that it looks great. So first of all, pay special attention to your location. Make sure you're filming somewhere that looks great. And then second of all, make sure that the lighting is great. You could have the best location in the world, but if it's lit incorrectly, then it's going to look awful. This is especially true if you're filming on your phone or a digital SLR. These cameras can look great when the environment is lit correctly, But if you're filming in low light or horrible lighting conditions, these cameras can look very ugly very quickly. Location and lighting can make or break a video, regardless of whether you're a professional or an amateur, so make sure you spend the time to find a great location and make sure that the light is perfect. People love realism, and this means that amateur homemade videos are now actually attracting more love than some of the professional slick music videos. So don't worry so much about not having access to a videographer. Just grab your phone, grab your digital SLR camera, grab some lights and go and shoot a great looking music video. And there you go. Those are my top tips for how to shoot a music video on your own when you don't have access to a videographer. I hope this video helped, and if it did, then please do consider pressing that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. See you there.